been spending some time in Blackwater and the surrounding areas as Arthur, trying to experiment essentially as the video suggests. And there's this little safe spot next to Javier when you've got your mission to scout out Blackwater, and I think the second act, or just before the second act of Red Dead Redemption. And I decided to take advantage of it and see what kind of hijinks I could get up to, and see sort of what I could find out for myself. And for those of you who don't know, there's actually a lot of hardship with going through this area, but there's also a lot of interesting stuff here. There's a lot of debate about whether or not Arthur was supposed to be able to access this place, or if it was specifically intended for the aftermath of the campaign, and let's say the epilogue, which I still have yet to play, so it was kind of interesting to come down here as Arthur, because I've been kind of holding on to that like the last piece of cake. So some of the things you can get up to would be exploring and interacting with some of the locals in the surrounding areas, checking out some of the camps closer to Blackwater, the buildings that are totally inaccessible, as well as realizing that you don't get any kind of social welcome here no matter who you are, or even if you're in online, as well as taking in some of the local wildlife, and keeping that in mind when you go and revisit a butcher who is actually accessible. Well, not a butcher, but a fur trader, I should say. Earlier I mentioned some of the hardships with coming down to this area as Arthur, namely that you can randomly spawn patrols of bounty hunters or police, which used to be manageable, though seriously annoying, as well as the variety in which they'd spawn in unpredictable manners. But lately you can also get these sort of like bogey-like NPCs. It can spot you and chase you, but don't quite give you an alert status, but don't seem to run out of stamina. It's super frustrating. I think you can kill them, but I think if I kill the first one here and not the second one, I think, yeah, there's no wanted icon, but because I failed to kill the second one, and he gets close here, watch this. Boom, wanted. Even though there's like, I guess he's the witness because his horse is dead, but still pretty frustrating. Like right now I should be free and clear, but you just see wanted coming in on all sides, so it's pretty brutal. One of the things I definitely wanted to check out was to see if I'd have access to Thieves Landing, and while I can in fact get onto the bridge separating the two, and you are able to in fact get to the halfway point of the bridge, if you cross the halfway point, the invisible snipers, so to speak, will shoot the hell out of you, as I'll demonstrate right here. I was hoping that I might be safe if I remained perfectly still in the middle of the bridge, but bounty hunters and sheriffs spawn came from me, not only from the side of the map that was accessible, but eventually they also attacked me from Thieves Landing, which was really dangerous, so you have to be careful about that. I tried hiding under the bridge to see if it made any kind of difference, but as you can probably guess, it didn't. It didn't quite get me line of sight, but there wasn't too much I could do, and swimming too close to Thieves Landing got me killed. I thought Quaker's Cove might be a little bit different, but as you can expect, I just wasn't able to make friends with the locals. Happy to leave the ugliness of Quaker's Cove behind me, I embarked for a seaside voyage with a steamship I had never used before because I haven't played the epilogue. I thought that this perhaps could be the vehicle I used to infiltrate Blackwater stealthily, and thought that a water-based attack would surely succeed without being detected. How wrong I was. Unbeknownst to me, the Maritime Defense Force of 1901 had deployed on the nearby island. I'm not really sure how, and I want to be angry, but I have so many questions. Like who, what do they do if they, like, it's just incredible. The security top notch, you know, and I ask myself, like, for what reason, you know? What's the worst thing that could happen if I even got close to Blackwater? You know, I'm a reasonable guy. It's not going to get crazy. Now that I'd grown bored of the monotony of dismantling the local police force, and of course using their bodies as a makeshift landing pad, I decided to try to get back to my boat and come up with a new strategy. Having made it down the ladder, and of course encountering a few guys in the alleyway, and this is key, him and his buddy here are about to be the cutest snuggling couple you ever did see in your whole life. Now, I don't think they should have landed like that if you caught it right there. It looks like Rockstar restacked them, but just look at those two. That's so cute. That's so sweet. I tried to zoom in and do something on them earlier, but it just really didn't go my way. Also, what a great shot. This is such a cool angle. Check this shit out. This is some true detective stuff. I know I'm probably breaking your immersion by talking through it, but... Few hostile takeovers later, a couple of up-jumped captains and some dissatisfied seamen. No pun intended. Is that a pun? I'm not sure if that's a pun. You get the idea. 3 hops, skips, and jumps later, and I was right back to the boat that I originally started on. And I knew that I had to come up with some kind of idea, some kind of new way to get through it. And it was there as I cruised again on my familiar steamship, being shot at by the Lemoyne Police Department. Or in this case, not Lemoyne, but the Blackwater Police Department. They're all police, you know. Bacon is bacon, in the sense that we're all vehicle-stealing criminals. I digress. I knew that there had to be some way to slip into the city. Had some kind of Trojan horse, some kind of mechanism for me to get into the city. So I had to look around and try to come up with an idea. And that's when it came to me. In the same area where I had been safe earlier close to Javier's camp, I'd also managed to find a series of bushes that seemed to provide to me the same invisibility that I'd so sought out. And it was from these bushes, and even Javier's outcropping, that I first detected and saw a wagon. And it was here that I had remembered earlier on Reddit seeing someone hop into a wagon after requesting access to it, or a ride, and using it to hide from the police. I was at this point in time that I thought, perhaps this is what I'd be able to do. Perhaps this is how I'll slip into Blackwater undetected. And I decided to put my plan into action. Admittedly, it wasn't a brilliant idea to try to cut through the civilian populace to go undetected. And in fact, I probably could have taken this as the first real warning that I was setting myself up for a lot of trouble. Because as that wagon disappeared into the city, I ended up shortly dying thereafter. But this is the one that kept me optimistic and hopeful. This is one that I was able to hop aboard and actually manage to catch, and even though it was taking me away from the city, it was one that allowed me to navigate by some police and actually lead me to believe that this ridiculous, harebrained idea about slipping and ipping and dipping into Blackwater, or just this ridiculous, harebrained idea about slipping into Blackwater, might actually just be feasible. So you can see that the cops have just spotted me here and that I'm wanted, but there's something about riding with this passenger that just makes them a little bit casual. I wasn't one on the road, but they had spotted me on the hill for sure, and yet they don't seem to aggro in. So I was pretty pleased in relation to this vehicle. But again, as I stated, this was leaving Blackwater, so I had to see if I could find another one. And now I'll skip to basically the meat of it. But the problem was here that I kept finding wagons moving in different directions, but every time I got close or tried to get close, I just kept running into issue after issue after issue, and it got so maddening. I think I went through about 4 or 5 wagons before I finally managed to settle on this one particular coach going to Blackwater, and it was sheer divine grace and luck. I don't even have the run-up on video. I managed to just actually end up start recording when I got in the vehicle, and I was actually able to take it all the way into Blackwater, and I'm going to show you exactly what happened. And, well, let the end of the video reveal itself. And it's both interesting and cool, but about exactly what you'd expect. So stay tuned, and then at the end of it, let me know what your thoughts are.
Charming wagon you've got. You Nancy boy? No thanks. I just want to be left to myself.
What do you think you're gonna get when you cross the line?
Help!
Let's go, boy. Ease, ease. Yeah. Give me a ride to town. Climb aboard. Thanks, mister. Hey!